We'd like to welcome Matthew Riedel to the interview room. Matthew, we'll open it up for questions in a couple minutes, but first off, you are a Houston native, making a start in your home city. How's it feel to be home?
It's awesome. I love it here. Just kind of got a lot of good home feelings and stuff. I've watched this tournament growing up for forever. My dad marshaled it for a few years, so it's kind of a full circle to kind of be back and get to compete out here.
Making your first start here, being able to come out here and make a start in your home your home event. How does it feel to have a home game kind of in your own backyard?
Oh, it's great. I mean, it's 15 minutes from my house, so you get to sleep in, you get to kind of hang out in your own bed in your own room, which is just another level of comfort factor. I'm sure throughout the week I'll see a lot of friends and family coming out and support. It's just kind of fun. You know where the areas are to go. It's just everything is kind of easier, a little less stress-free going into the week.
You had mentioned as we were coming into the media center that you're living at home right now, actually. Very convenient this week, but what's that been like this season, being able to have your parents' support and also still have some chores around the house?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, they've been so much and meant so much to me, just supporting me to kind of get me to where I am, and also welcoming me back when first graduated college last year, figuring out where I want to be, what all that looks like. They've been very welcoming for that, but I still earn my keep with some chores, dishwasher, laundry, all that good stuff. So it's a mutual relationship there.
And obviously last summer, after PGA Tour University, earning Korn Ferry Tour status, and then ultimately your tour card through Q School, where's your game at? How would you assess your first 6 starts of the year and how your rookie season on tour is going?
It's been solid. I mean, it's been okay, I'd say. Game's feeling better and coming around definitely week by week, but my goal when I first turned pro, which was not even a year ago, is just to get out and learn and figure out what everything's supposed to look like and then kind of adapt your game to that. So I'd say through the 6 events, I feel comfortable out here. I'm learning the ropes and figuring out what it takes, because Korn Ferry golf's a little different than PGA Tour golf, and that's a little different than college golf. So it's kind of figuring out how to adapt your game to be prepared week in and week out when you play all these great venues and be able to kind of compete against Rory and Scheffler and all those guys and feel good.
And last question from me before we open it up for questions. Being a part of the PGA Tour University class last year and having that direct access to the Korn Ferry Tour, what did that do for you as a young pro, stepping right into that game from college golf?
I mean, it completely jump-started my career. I guess when I was first getting into college, I think that was the first couple years or the first year of it. So nobody really knew what it looked like. And in the past, you always just hear everybody going to Q School and it kind of throwing your hat in the ring and trying to go out and get it and earn your spot. But to kind of be able to plan last spring of, hey, well, this is what my summer is going to look like, and played great golf. And if you would have told me a year prior from now, I wouldn't have ever believed it. And it's all from PGA Tour U and kind of the access we were given, and it's been great that players before me have played well to kind of earn that status and kind of keep those rewards coming in, but it's been unbelievable to kind of jumpstart it.
We'll open it up for questions now. We'll go to Dale up front.
Well, Matthew, can you, obviously you've got a lot of personal memories of watching this tournament. When do you think you first, were in the gallery at the Houston Open?
Probably 10 or 11. My dad did it. It was when it was up at Redstone. Then they changed it to Golf Club of Houston. So I'd say I went probably 6 years in a row. I'd say 10 to 16 or 17. I remember I have a video on my phone of Luke List hitting a tee shot, and that was, I think, right before I committed to Vandy, which was probably 2016 or so. And it's funny seeing Luke out here now, and I actually haven't shown him that video. I need to find it and be like, hey, this was me to you 10 years ago, but it's a cool full circle with it all.
Of course, you're in the galleries then, and I know your sights are already set on being where you are today, sitting here having this conversation and playing this golf course as a PGA touring professional. Has it hit home? I mean, have you processed it?
Yeah, I've gotten, just driving in the parking lot, it's like, okay, this feels normal, because I'll come out here on some Mondays when my home course is closed and hit balls and putt, but it was like, I think it really hit when we were hitting on the grass, because it's never grass ever. So it was like, oh, wow, I've never stepped foot kind of in this area. So that was one of the things on the range where it's like, whoa, and just getting to kind of play it all. But it just kind of taking it day by day and step by step, you never really know.
How many 18-hole rounds have you played on this course?
Not as many since they redid it probably 3 years ago. I played the old one a good bit. I'd say probably, honestly, only 2 or 3, once a year, because I just haven't been back in Houston all that much, just through college. We'd come out with just some buddies and play, but with it overseeded and all that, it's definitely a good bit different than we typically would see it.
When you decided to go to Vanderbilt, what were your other choices, and why did you decide on Vandy?
My top other ones were SMU. Both my parents went there, and kind of the Texas connection, which was nice, and then Stanford. Those are my top three. And for me, Vandy was a pretty easy choice. I mean, I love Limbaugh, and Gator Todd was the assistant there when I first got there, and just all the players. There was a lot of guys from Texas, so that made it kind of comfortable. But just the way Limbaugh coaches everybody and cares for everybody, the program itself is a true kind of loving family, and then also enjoyed the fact that it's a good academic school, just to kind of always have a backup plan and be best prepared.
You mentioned academics. Have you researched how many other PGA Touring professionals were the valedictorians of their high school classes?
I have not. I always put an asterisk to that because there was about 50 other co-valedictorians with me, just kind of all A's, not necessarily the top one, but it's one thing that you can control and try to always work hard at everything you do, whether it's school, golf, working out, relationships. It'll take you a long way.
Obviously, you made the PGA Tour in rather dramatic fashion. It literally did come down to a putt. And yes, you've talked about this numerous times, but will you humor me and go back through your thought process and what was going through your head as you're staring at the cup?
It was just one of those, you're kind of like, you have a little tunnel vision of, there's a lot to that said putt, but all you can do is kind of try to make that 5-footer that you've always practiced with. I remember when Nick Dunlap won the American Express the year before, he said in an interview, like his caddy told him, like, this putt's easy, your mom could make it. And that kind of crossed in my head of like, all right, like, it's a 5-footer. I thought it was dead straight. I kind of pulled it and snuck in the left side. But it was one of those, it's like, it's nothing more than a putt, just hit it.
You're right, but you were fully aware of the consequences. There was no like, well, maybe if I make this, I'll be on the tour, maybe not. I mean, did you know that it was make it or?
I knew it came down to that. I guess to me, I kind of had the outlook of, hey, if now's not my time, I got time. I mean, I know you only have so many opportunities, so you kind of want to take advantage of it. But at the same time, it's like kind of got as my plan, and I'm going to go try to act it out and make this. But this is a great learning experience. So I would have been content if I missed it. I mean, obviously, you want to make it and take advantage of those opportunities, and I'm glad I did. But it's one of those things, you just kind of have a good outlook on it, and it works out. Earlier
this week, I also cover the U.S. clay court tennis for the Chronicle. So to get ahead on that, because it follows they're back-to-back now, talking to two young Americans, 19 and 20 years old, talking about, adjusting to the physicality of playing on the ATP Tour. You don't physically play other golfers. You play a golf course, but can you weigh in a little bit on the mental side of that, of being out here with the big boys, Rory and Scotty, and how you process that?
Yeah, I mean, for me, just the road to being a professional, whether it's Korn Ferry or PGA, it's just you're playing a lot more in a shorter term. I think in college you'd always play and then have a week off or 9 days off and be able to kind of always regroup and kind of get back fresh again. And I think for me in the Korn Ferry, I played 13 out of 14 weeks, and then out here you play 3, you're off 1, you play 3, and so it does kind of stack up. And a lot of it's just being able to figure it out on yourself on the road, because back in college you had a lot of teammates and players and coaches that you could lean into and say, hey, what do you think I'm doing here and here? What's your plan on this hole? And out here, it's just kind of all up to you and your caddy and your team. So you got to really have a good network group to fix issues on a Sunday and be back ready to roll on a Tuesday.
And you can't let yourself be psyched out by the fact that you're playing with some really great golfers, right? You have to just focus on what you're doing.
Exactly. You got to run your race and see where that gets you, and see what time, what score you post, and how that kind of compares to those guys.
And you also probably, it's hard to do sometimes, but you don't want to put pressure on yourself to get there too quickly. You got to, I guess, be patient with your progress, right?
Going back to, like, I guess my high school golf and into college and then here now, I've always kind of just tried to get a little bit better every day and have a good, solid foundation. Never really peaked, I'd say, too early in my career in college golf or high school golf being a top recruit or a top player. I just kind of gradually got a little better, and that's always been my goal. So I'm not too worried really about results. I mean, I'd love for them to kind of pile in, but more just am I trying to do the best thing I can do for myself. And I'm 24 right now, so it's like you see where I'm at in 28, 29, 30. Hopefully that's just a gradual, steady progression.
In the beginning, why golf?
It's a good question. I mean, I played basketball and baseball up until about 8th grade. My dad always played, so it was always fun playing with my dad and my older brother. It just got to be where I probably wasn't good enough at basketball. Baseball, I just didn't love. I was a good pitcher, but didn't love it. And then golf, it was kind of the best of both worlds. I just loved, I guess, always having to figure it out and not really ever being kind of ahead of the curve. I was always good at it, but it was just like you gotta have a lot of discipline and spend a lot of time and effort into it. And I just loved it.
But ultimately, you went out there with your father, and he kind of, he didn't force you to play golf, but
didn't force me.
Once you decided you liked it, it was good.
Exactly. He just really instilled kind of the love of the game and the enjoyment of it. It was never for him, never trying to shoot a score or anything. It was just getting out there, hitting shots, and having fun. My grandpa was always a little strict on like the scores, and you got to finish everything out. And he never loved that, and he kind of brought that to me, and I kind of found a happy medium of still shooting a score, but also enjoying it.
Did either of them play to a handicap themselves?
No,
they were just
your active
recreational.
your active 10 handicappers.
Okay, all right. Well, hey, what the tough question to answer here, but what makes this the next 5-6 days a success for you?
That is a good question. Honestly, just kind of staying in my own process. I've never really competed in my hometown like this to where I've got a bunch of texts from people that are going to be coming out and supporting me. So not get lost in that. I looked and saw the weather on Thursday, Friday is going to be a little tough. So kind of just staying kind of grounded, focusing on what you can control and kind of just staying in the moment. I mean, I know my game's plenty good to be out here and compete out here. So it's just a matter of putting it all together. I feel like I've kind of done a couple good things and a couple bad things at some events, but not put anything together fully. So just try to be a little better than last week and then regroup and then go forward.
Is there extra pressure playing in front of a lot of friends and family?
I don't think so. I think it's kind of a privilege to kind of have a lot of people out and support you. It'll be definitely a change of scenery when you're on the first tee and there's a little more people out there, but I'm excited for it. It should be a lot of fun. It's everything I've dreamed.
Have you done a head count yet of how many you're expecting?
I've not done a head count yet. I guess we'll get there when we get there. We may have some people fall out if it's raining or windy.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course.
Go to Cameron.
Going back to PGA Tour U, obviously Gordon has his card already locked up, and I know JVP's kind of in a similar situation to what you were last year. How much have you talked with either of those guys about maybe what to expect once they kind of finish up their college careers?
Yeah, I've had a lot of conversations. Gordon and I were talking a week ago about potentially staying together at some events and stuff, which is really exciting because it's always great to have a good support group out here and people to hang out with. And then I've talked to Jackson a little bit more. I mean, I guess he's having, I think, a pretty good week this week, and it has been the last couple, so he should be pretty good for Korn Ferry. But just kind of talking him through just, hey, you just got to kind of play solid and focus on 1 week at a time. Just for him, just helping him. For me, answering any questions that he may have for me just to kind of help him get it done. But he's a great player. Jackson will 100% get through Korn Ferry, I think, pretty easily and have a lot of success out here. But it's just been fun kind of talking to them about going through that process for me, looking back towards it, and a little just the difference between your college golf and pro golf because you pick everybody's brain, but everybody's got a different takeaway. So my takeaway is a little more of you just got to be able to problem solve a little faster than you kind of did in college and just try to help them go through any just growing pains.
Is it still weird to you, or have you had to adjust to people asking you for your advice and everything about how to be a tour pro?
A little bit. It's funny because, Gordon's always been a world beater, so we're always asking, Sarge, hey, how do you hit this shot? Or what was it like playing? Because he's played a few tour events. What was it like playing here, the U.S. Open or Masters or anything? And then for me, he'll kind of pick my brain a little bit about, hey, what's it like playing 3 weeks in a row out here? So it's a little change of scenery of actually being the one to give advice. But, we all – at Vandy, I think we had a great kind of collaborative team, which was awesome. We'd always pick each other's brains, whether it was about school, golf, anything. So it's nice to kind of have that relationship with the guys. Yeah.
So your best golfing moment in Houston ever?
Ooh. That's a good one. I played the CB&I, which is a big AJGA invitational, my senior year. I think I finished 5th or 8th or something. I don't know the exact number, but played really well, and we had a bunch of Vandy guys there, and that was kind of leading into college. So that was probably my best one. I haven't made a hole-in-one, so I can't lean on that at my club or anything. Yeah, that's probably it.
And you won the state championship, but that was not in the Houston area.
Yeah, I won the state. That was in Georgetown, which is like just north of Austin.
And have you ever met Andrew Luck?
Ooh. I don't think I have.
'Cause
I know his family decently well, but I don't think I've met him.
Obviously,
actually,
many years before you at Stratford.
Yeah, he's our big Stratford guy.
So he didn't try to talk you into going to Stanford.
No, he didn't have any input in that. He probably would have had a good
The
conversation.
interesting thing about the two young tennis players I was talking to, they were not even born when the last American, Andy Roddick, won a major championship.
Wow.
And neither of them have ever met Andy. Now, golf,
world.
obviously,
Yeah.
we're kind of still in the game here. But
Yeah.
anyway, well, welcome back, man.
Thank you.
And then one more. Finish up.
Hey. Nice to meet you.
Hey, I'm Todd Freed with the H-Town High School Sports TV show. Mike, I just had one question, which you just kind of referred to right now, and that was going back to your junior season. Is that when you won state, right?
Yeah, correct.
What was that experience like, winning the 6A state championship as a high school junior at Stratford?
It was awesome. I think that year before I played as an individual, so the team didn't make it, but I made it through and I think finished 11th and kind of struggled coming down the stretch. So it was fun being able to redeem myself a little bit there. It's a good course. It was kind of one of those, you just get in the moment, you play well, and you kind of had to post the score and wait and see. And I remember I played really well, birdied the last and felt pretty good leaving. And then we went to go, me and my teammates went to go grab a burger and kind of come back to see if because there was a 2-hour gap, and we kept refreshing, and it just looked good the whole way, and got back and was like, oh wow, like that just happened. So that was really cool. And I remember driving back when I got home, a bunch of my friends and some I think faculty up there did a little something like celebration when I got home to Stratford. So that was by far I think kind of the start or one of the good golf memories of kind of winning a tournament.
Awesome. Thank you, Matthew, and best of luck this week.
Thank you.